So I started recording. So yes, yeah. So he's wrapping up a session with a different group. So he will be here in 10 minutes. So meanwhile, let us at least collect our thoughts on what we want to ask him, right? What the focus is. So I put a few things in the email. See, many things like karma and dharma that we can listen to the talks and we can at least with our mind we can comprehend. But Atma Jnana, what is Atma? What is Anatma? Right? This needs to be explained properly because this is very subtle topic. And unless we so when we say Atma cannot be seen, cannot be heard, we cannot touch it, we cannot even think about it because it's not an object. Because mind can only grasp object, whereas Atma is not an object to be perceived by sense objects, or it can be through our intellect we can understand, because it is the source which provides the power to for the mind to think. It is the power that gives the power to intellect to think. So it is the source from which everything came. They don't have the power to go back and find out the root of that. We can only grasp what our senses can provide us, and we can only grasp what our mind can think. So this is beyond mind, beyond senses. So how to grasp this subtle topic is what we want to understand. What is Atma? What is considered as Anatma? And why do we even need to learn about this? So this is the question I put in the meeting, right? Oh, hold on. Yeah, he's joining now. Yeah, go ahead. You're saying something. Achal, you're saying something?
No,
Okay.
that was
Hmm. Oh. Yeah, so those are the questions that I thought would be appropriate for this session. Anything else? You can ask directly him, but I'm just trying to gather from everyone what other things that come. See, your question, Harshali, I couldn't put it in words, so maybe you better ask him directly. Yeah, I did not know where to
yeah.
start on that question.
I was as I said, I'm not even sure if we are ready to face him. It was just a question that came in my mind while we were discussing. But I did do a kind of little bit of reading, and what I found reading also, and I also was trying to find answers through different sources. So I think the answer, not it cannot be the answer, but it can be something which can be said that leads to um, going back and rejoining to the main source of Paramatma. So after, if we have like my question was a hypothetical situation, or it could be a true situation, that you really perform what you're supposed to be doing, then what happens to that? So it just तो in Marathi they say तो विलीन होतो, परमात्मा मध्ये जाऊन तो विलीन होईल. So that's what I found. And
I think that's the question we should ask.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
We have
Namaste,
everybody
everybody.
in our group. Aruna is also here.
Namaste,
Hi,
Guruji.
Aruna. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Namaskaram Guruji.
Namaskaram. Who is speaking?
Avinash.
Avinash. Namaste.
Namaste. Nilesh here.
Nilesh, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Avinash and Nilesh, when you came here, they came to our home. You
Yeah.
met them.
Yeah, I remember.
Padmini ji was there. I think she met you directly in Bangalore.
Who?
Mahesh Joshi, he joined our group recently.
Okay.
He has been my friend for the last 30 years. He's my classmate, and Harsha is same
Oh,
with her. She is also my classmate.
wonderful.
They joined. We have been going through Bhagavad Gita couple of sessions.
Okay.
We are on chapter 2.
Okay.
Namaste, Prabhuji.
Namaste, Padmiji. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So the subtle concept of what is Atma, what is Anatma is what I want them to listen directly from you and grasp, because it's
Okay.
easy to understand. And they may have other questions, so I leave the floor to you.
Okay. So let us start with the questions. The question is, what is Atma and Anatma? Right? Let me hear from you people. What is Atma and Anatma as per your understanding?
I will go first. Atma.
Atma and Anatma, we have to come to the Atma by defining what is not Anatma. So I'm not the body, I'm not the intellect, I'm not the mind. Whatever all this is not, the other is Atma.
Okay.
So that's one
Fairly
way.
accurate answer. See, we have heard the word called human being, right? The human being is a composite of two words, human and being. Correct, no? What is this human part and what is being part? It's made up of two words. The human part, what we call, consisting of human body, mind complex, the physical structure, and the mind which goes with that, is what we call as human part. What is the being part? Being is the essence of humans. It is a consciousness. So now, what is the body, mind, and intellect? It is a matter, material in nature. It's a composition of chemical composition at various degrees. So the material composition, which is made up of body, mind, and intellect, and even the world is called Anatma. And consciousness is called Atma. The consciousness and matter is called Atma and Anatma. So the matter consists of body, mind is also matter, intellect is also matter. So everything what is material in nature is called Anatma. So in the human being part, the human part is Anatma, being part is Atma. Atma means myself. So when you ask in human being, when I say you are human being, what do you associate with yourself with? Human part or being part?
90% of the time, it's a human part.
90% of the time you are a human part. If at all we associate with being part, very rarely, right? So the human part is just a matter. It's a interface. It's a instrument. The being part is the consciousness which drives this instrument. So let us say somebody dies. Okay, the human part will be lying on the table. Okay, being is not visible. Is that gone? So that body will be disposed of. The human part is not what you are. You're really the being part. Out of the human and being, if you were to ask, what are you? You should say, I'm being. And I have a human part. Rather than we confuse ourselves and say, I'm human. The human is the vehicle. The being is the consciousness. So when we die, the being is not visible. The human part is there. That human part it will start rotting. It will just dispose it off. So really we are not the human part, the being part. That's why in various languages, wo chala gaya. That he means he chala gaya. That somebody dies, they'll say chala gaya. Hindi, right? Chala gaya means he's gone. Who has gone? The being is gone. The body is there. But throughout our life, we live with the confusion that I am the body, not the being. That being is called Atma and the body is called Anatma. Is that a question? It's also matter and consciousness, relationship between matter and consciousness. So the consciousness and matter, what is the relationship? The science looks at the life from the matter point of view. Okay, they say, okay, there's a matter, gradually the consciousness appeared and life appeared. So it's an inverted view of life. In reality, from consciousness, matter appeared. The consciousness is the intelligence which is required for the material creation. From consciousness, the matter appeared, but scientific views from the outside, from outside to inside. Whereas the spiritual view is from consciousness to matter, the other way. The matter is called Anatma, the consciousness is called Atma.
What is the first existence of consciousness? When does it sprite?
The consciousness is eternally there. It doesn't come into existence or it doesn't go out of existence.
Exactly, but when does it come in human form? What is that? Is that conception or is it when it starts? It's hard.
In human form, the consciousness takes infinite number of forms. All living and non-living being forms it takes. Right? It takes human form is one of the forms.
Correct.
As per our Vedantic terms, it's what you call as some 86 million life forms it takes. Human form is one of them. Okay. After conception, maybe some 3 months or some time frame is there. Beyond that, it get animated by Jiva, individual consciousness. Immediately after conception, it is two cells, father and mother, that become a meat ball. So there, the consciousness to appear, it requires a subtle body. That means the fine matter, which is actually brain. So at that level, the subtle matter, the consciousness appears in the human body.
So for 3 months, it doesn't have existence. Can we say that? Is that a right word?
No, 3 months, the life will be derived from the parents.
No,
The cells,
I'm talking about the consciousness. So
the
let's say,
consciousness. See, the consciousness is there all the time.
correct.
The consciousness is there everywhere. But the consciousness to appear in a human body, it require the consciousness to is a body has to support it, the jiva, that the life force. So that will happen at some 3 months or 4 months, I think, around that time.
Yeah, okay. No, my question was like what we say, wo chala gaya. So now from chala gaya, for it to appear in somebody else's body, are we talking of 3 months? It's in limbo. Is that a right thing?
No, that jiva, the individual soul, consisting of a subtle body, a causal body. There are compositions. Subtle and causal body is there. Okay. So now that subtle and causal body will travel from one place to other place, or one system to other system, between birth and death. What they call as going to heaven or hell, or traveling to other parents' body. It will go through certain stages. These stages are very described in very detail in Brahma Sutra. Various stages, microscopic stages. So practically, what will happen is it will go through different types of experiences in between, and after that, it enters into the womb of the mother through father.
Okay.
So actually, there is a separate series of talks on Brahma Sutra.
There is about 40 talks on Brahma Sutra, where every very fine details of the journey is given. The journey for different types of people. Somebody who has done spiritual sadhana, what happened to him? Somebody who has not done spiritual sadhana. Somebody has done sin. Somebody has done punya. So various microscopic stages are told in that journey.
Yeah, maybe this was the first time I got exposed to this word. So maybe there's a lot of things that I need to know.
No, there's a whole lot of literature with in Brahma Sutra, the chapter 4. So I have talked about 40 talks I have given, and every microscopic details are there. So devatas, there are the conscious beings who will come and assist. They can experience punya or papa, and after that, what will happen to them? All those things are details are given.
Guruji, the next
We'll
question,
go through.
follow-up question for this is, why should anyone, or we or anyone, learn about Atma and Anatma?
Why should somebody will want to learn about Atma and Anatma? It's like asking any question. Why should I learn any subject? Okay, why should you learn your let's say software? You learn software. Why did you learn software?
For livelihood or
So livelihood, survival, right? So now survival of whom? Survival of whom?
Survival of the human. So if you want to have the survival,
which is not you. Survival of your vehicle. So we do a lot of effort on maintaining the vehicle without understanding that there's a vehicle which is being maintained. So real me, I don't even know. Okay, what I have to do for myself, I don't know. So it is like all our life, not one life, millions of lifetime we spend only on the human part, which is Anatma, which is the vehicle. Okay, and throughout our life, there will be always a dissatisfaction within us. Some amount of dissatisfaction will be there. For anybody, however successful they are in. The dissatisfaction is because you are not taking care of your real self. You're not addressing the real self. First of all, we don't even know such a real self exists. So once you start understanding the real nature of self, and you start taking attention to that, there's an experience of deep peace and fulfillment of life. You feel fulfilled. Until that fulfillment is achieved, we go through millions of lifetimes without unfulfilled. all the while taking care of the body, which is the vehicle. So body has to be taken care, but body is not me, it's just a vehicle. It is like a plant is there and you want to water the plant. Okay, the plant gives beautiful flowers. So you start watering the plant, flowers, without watering the root of the plant. Then the plant will die. Plant will suffer. Our roots are deep within the being. The shoot and the flower is our body. So we keep addressing the body without addressing the innermost self. We address the mind also. Mind is also Anatma. So to address yourself, we need to know that about ourselves. The no system will teach it. There are two types of subjects in the earth: material science and science of consciousness. Matter and consciousness. There are two types of science. We are very familiar with the science of matter. Science of consciousness, nobody teaches us about ourselves. So by knowing ourselves, we can attain supreme peace, supreme bliss, and fulfillment of human life. That fulfillment of human life is called enlightenment or liberation or mukti.
So I'm sorry, I'm going to extend Subbu's question. I'm sorry if I sound very ignorant,
No.
but
Quite.
so I'll say we are lucky here that we at least have been exposed. It's a different question how much of us will imbibe what and how on based on his and her own understanding.
Right.
But like what Subbu said, like why should you learn? So we see around us millions of people who don't even actually know about what we are trying to learn here,
Right.
and they live life and they go away.
Right.
And let's probably it might be a right way to say that they lived life without knowing themselves. For us, maybe we will learn with our knowledge, maybe 1%, 2% of all this. But when we are talking about those lives who have never even been exposed on all this, and again, here we are talking
Yeah.
about the form of only human. We are not even considering about the rest of those million janam that a soul goes through, who doesn't understand the meaning of Atma or the being form, I mean, the human form and all. So, is it that two questions about it? First of all, is those who don't learn, it's like they still live life and nobody knows what happens to them. And the second part is, are we saying that only humans have the opportunity to actually learn themselves and try to do better in life? Is that the right thing?
I think Guruji on mute.
Guruji, we cannot hear. You. I think your audio is broke maybe.
I think signal is poor, maybe.
No, we can't hear you. No, I think he's some mute button is pressed.
No,
There's one
Guruji, we
button.
cannot hear you.
Yeah, we cannot hear you.
You wanna rejoin?
I think I want to reconnect. Subbu, while he's saying that, he said mind is Atma as well, like a few lines ago.
Anatma.
Sorry?
Anatma.
Okay. I had a, that's why I just want to confirm. Is it mind is Atma or Anatma? That's why I just want to confirm. Okay, good.
I'll stop
Consciousness.
recording until Prabhuji joins. I will stop recording. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, of all the species, there are about 86 lakh yonis. The human being is the peak of evolution, which gives the ability, intellectual ability, and abstract thinking, which will help him to achieve whatever science and technology what we are doing, go to space, do discoveries in science. Same time, it will help him to discover himself also. So that ability is not available at the lower level life forms. Okay, so that's the answer to your question, whether human being has the ability.
So this is the last chance for us to actually do something about it
Yeah,
and work on it.
when you are in the peak of evolution, so in the peak of evolution, you can encash it. But what will happen is, it is not that human life itself is lost. Uh, it goes through millions and millions of lifetimes. In human birth itself, we can take millions of lifetimes without knowing. It's a evolution process, slowly evolution process. All of a sudden, people will not come to spiritual journey and all. It takes many lifetimes before somebody is getting ready for asking question, who am I, what I am really. They don't, the question won't even come. Even if you tell them, they won't understand. So out of, let's say, 100 people, I mean, the world population is 7 billion, 99.9% of people will not be interested. Okay, even if you tell them, they won't, because that maturity has to happen over lifetimes. So very few people will get that maturity. It's like anything, anywhere in science. Okay, science also. When I joined my SLC, 10 lakh people were there. When I went to PUC, 2 lakh. When I went to engineering, 5,000 people. When I went to MTech, 200 people. So like that, it narrows down the evolution peak. So only very few people will address that question, who am I? Those are the people who will mature and get transcend. Right? So now, is knowledge available? Knowledge is available, but not people will not be interested. Okay, and even if the people are interested, they'll not focus. Even if they focus, they can't grasp it because it's very subtle.
It's very difficult also and very abstract.
It is not difficult. It is subtle. Difficult and subtle, there is a difference. It is subtle subject, very subtle. It's not difficult at all, but the mind has to be very sharp and subtle to grasp it. In that
So
sense,
what is the objective of human? We have to, based on whatever is being taught to us in Bhagavad Gita, let's say, this is, as what you say, this is my peak of the evolution. What am I achieving here? After
what,
assuming everything that I have
what you are
supposed to.
achieving is first we have to recognize that all my life I have been living in the illusion that the vehicle is me. It's like saying my car is myself. So my attempts to get satisfaction in life all are misdirected. It is taking care of the body, mind. Even when I say I will take care of family, we are actually only addressing their body and mental, physical and mental needs, not the spiritual needs.
But for the consciousness, the vehicle is needed. It doesn't have existence without the vehicle. So we
No, no,
can't ignore that either.
no. I'm not saying ignore. What I'm saying is the vehicle is only being taken care. There's no understanding of the consciousness itself.
Agreed.
Right? Your whole direction is about the vehicle, not about the consciousness itself. We don't even know whether we are a being.
Agreed.
We are Atma.
Absolutely.
So that consciousness without the vehicle, the evolution will not happen. A maturity has to be required. A peak human vehicle is required. Otherwise, that evolution will not happen. So now, at the peak of human consciousness, right? So in the science, we say from monkey to man journey. Okay, that's at the physical level. Monkey to man journey is happened physical level. So is the man journey, the man is the final, or beyond that is something is there? the scientific discovery stops at the physical level of a human being, monkey to man. So the ancient findings or Vedanta and Bhagavad Gita is the human journey. There's one step, two steps beyond that, human body. You can develop divine qualities. A mature human being has certain qualities of love, compassion, what we call as a flowering of soft qualities of a human being that we call as divine qualities. Beyond that, you can attain oneness with the supreme reality, Paramatma, the God consciousness and absolute consciousness are the two levels which we can go beyond human body, and that's possible only within the human body. Absolute consciousness is called Paramatma or supreme reality, which is the totality of the existence. So to realize I am one with the totality of existence, Paramatma is the peak which we can go in human life.
So from
So-
Bhagavad Gita, is there anybody who really achieved Paramatma after including Krishna?
Krishna is Paramatma himself.
But he came here in the form of a human being, right?
That is true. See, the Paramatma, when it comes in the form of human being, that's called avatar, incarnation.
Correct.
Establish dharma. There are two types of people. So people who evolve and reach higher, and those evolved come for the guidance. They are different category. So those who evolve, those who are Paramatma or higher level consciousness coming to earth for the purpose of teaching or guidance is called avatar. So they don't fall into this category. They are not evolving. They know why they have come. They will help in the other people, guide, and then they'll go back. So the body is taken for the purpose of teaching and guiding and establishing dharma in the world. That's Krishna. That's about many other Mahatmas also.
So, okay, if Krishna was an avatar, did anybody else go and join Paramatma?
Definitely.
In spite of Arjun listening to whatever
No, I'm saying
Krishna was telling.
definitely. It is not very uncommon. Okay, people who become Paramatma, they will not show some light, sound, music. Okay, they
Absolutely.
very
Agreed.
ordinary people. Okay, so there are many people. Okay, who evolve spiritually. The spiritual evolution is very quiet and silent. They don't show up. So most of the time we are just to only see the light, sound, and music, some beard and all. There are many people who evolve very gently, silently, and reach higher level of evolution. It doesn't require, and without, if that is not there, then there's no meaning in this all the scriptures and study of Quran. There are many people. Actually, there are so many evolved people who we don't see them because they don't show up. And with the right understanding and right clarity, which comes from the scriptures, it is not a very tough path. The clarity and subtle the ability of the person together, the combination is many people get enlightened. It is not a rare thing. The enlightenment is a rare thing for us because we don't understand the mechanism. Those who understand the mechanism, enlightenment is something not very rare. It's in fact is in the reach of many of the people who go through a systematic spiritual life.
I have
So
a question. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that's avatar means somebody has come to higher consciousness, come to teach lower consciousness. Whereas Siddha Purusha or a realized person is a human being taking the higher consciousness. Yes, sir.
So we talked about in one of the sessions before, and thanks Subbu for coordinating those sessions, and thanks Prabhuji for your great knowledge. And I can see people teaching Jagaditaya, but you are doing it for the world, and your videos has, I think, enlightened many of us. Or I'm not there, but hopefully I'm expecting. So this
I'm not
journey of,
doing Jagaditaya, I'm just doing my dharma.
okay. So in this path of enlightenment and liberation, so when we say liberation, right? The liberation is
One minute, 1 minute.
There's a lot of disturbance, Mahesh.
Some noise,
really.
some construction. Okay, please go ahead.
Background noise.
Yeah, background noise. Yeah, go ahead.
So in the after the path of, not after the path, but after we call it like a liberation, that what happens, like you call it moksha, right? So what happens to the Atma after moksha is one of the questions that we were discussing last time.
See, the Atma is an individualized consciousness. Paramatma is the supreme consciousness. So individualized consciousness is more like a wave, and supreme consciousness is like a water. So what will happen to the wave? After the waveform is gone, it becomes one with the water. It becomes one with the infinite Paramatma. So
Thank you.
Jivatma realizes oneness with the Paramatma. It's as good as a wave, which is also a part of water earlier also. But wave had a structure, a form, a rise and fall. Maybe millions of times wave will rise and fall. Finally, it merges with water. No more waveform coming up. Similarly, Atma merges with Paramatma. No more taking the vehicles of different vehicles. That's called moksha.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, hold on.